Welcome guys to yet another video. Today we have with us Ruchika from Microsoft. She is university recruiting lead at Microsoft and she has over 45,000 followers on LinkedIn. She has been helping the student community for a lot of years. So let's straight jump into the video. So hey Ruchika, thanks for coming to our channel and thanks a lot for sparing some time for us. First of all, if you want to briefly introduce yourself.
Sure. Thank you so much, Joban. My name is Ruchika, and I'm a university recruiter at Microsoft. I have been a recruiter for almost 10 years. I'll complete 10 years in the next couple of months. All my professional career has been into recruitment. And outside of work, what I do is I am a YouTuber and I am a content creator and a lot of other things. And I absolutely love what I do. I get a lot of energy in the company that I am, in the work that I do, and also the people that I probably bring into the organization. So that's in a nutshell my own introduction.
Okay, yeah, that's really nice. So we will straight jump into the questions that students have been asking for us on various platforms. So we will first go through the basics, like if someone doesn't know what recruiters do and like what is the basic differences in the university recruitment teams, which are on-campus hiring and the off-campus hiring. What are the major differences in that? If you want to briefly
Sure.
touch upon that, yeah.
Yeah. The university recruiting, typically you'll see this roles when in very big organizations like Microsoft, wherein there is a lot of fresher intake that happens and there is a lot of demand that comes in. There are smaller organizations as well, wherein there is just a recruiter who
Hmm.
basically is the recruiter who does the lateral hiring or experience hiring and also does campus hiring. But because the expanse at which we are functioning, there is a requirement of a specific specialized team
Hmm.
which works very very closely and works on bringing in the fresh talent. And when I say fresh talent, I mean basically fresh graduates into
Hmm.
the organization, and that's what a university recruiter does. Now, within university recruiting, there are other specialized roles that have come in now. There is something called as programs, wherein most of these organizations do a lot of programs and ways in which they hire
Hmm.
people. For example, there are diversity programs, there are hackathons, there are codathons, there are a bunch of other things, right? So it's like year long, and that's another speciality that a university recruiter needs to have. And so that's in a nutshell what a university recruiter does. Sorry, I didn't get your next question. Was it off campus, on
Yeah,
campus?
yeah. And what are the major differences, or are there any differences at all?
Okay, so typically the organization, they get their demand, and I'm talking about a university recruiting team. They get their
Hmm.
demand from the business that they're catering.
Yeah.
In the month of June, May, June is when you get the demand. That these are the number of positions we need to fill,
Hmm.
and these are the number of freshers we need. Okay, now July is when most of the organizations start their hiring from a fresher standpoint, because that's when it coincides with the college semester, right? Colleges typically end one semester in the month of
Hmm.
June and start
June
off
and
in the
July.
month of July. Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's when the hiring also starts in most of these colleges, tier one, tier two, tier three, all of them. And that's when the company is more focused on campus, because there are a list of targeted colleges. You have the IITs, the NITs, Manipal, all of those
Hmm.
typical colleges. And this is just engineering I'm talking about. I'm
Yeah.
sure there are a whole bunch of other colleges, BBA, BCom, all of those likes. And that's when the hiring starts. Now once the hiring is met, the demand is met from on campus, and we realize, oh, there is more demand that is coming in from the business, and we need to meet that demand. That's when we start focusing on off campus. So off campus you'll typically see in the latter half of the year, say around
Hmm.
October, November, because that's where we have kind of got a good understanding of what is the demand that we need to meet. Now, all in all, most of the hiring would happen, at least majority of the hiring happens by December, right?
Okay.
There are certain companies that also hire in, January, February, March,
Hmm.
but they're very, very small. So if you are looking for opportunities, your window has to be from July to December. That's when you have to apply everywhere. Make sure that you're applying in multiple positions, because you never know, these positions get filled very, very quickly.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that's the calendar that you should keep in mind.
Okay. Okay. I think that's really important information to keep in mind. because like we are in that window recently. So December is going on, and we had IITs as well. Like we are seeing like a lot of companies are visiting IITs, NITs. So this is an important time for students right now to focus on these hiring
Yeah.
processes. And also like you mentioned, like the university recruitment team visits tier one, tier two colleges. So this is like a really burning question in student community these days. Like, does college tier matters, or if it does or does not, like what are the nuances there?
I think, in all honesty, a couple of years back it mattered when the demand was not that much.
Hmm.
When we were hiring in smaller numbers, when we knew that, okay, these are the numbers we want to, and maybe it was like, I'm just giving you an example. It's not like Microsoft works like that, but yeah,
Yeah,
just maybe say 200 or 300, and we know that this is the demand. We are easily able to fulfill that demand from the typical list of our targeted colleges.
yeah.
Now things have changed, and I think pandemic has played a very important role, not just in an organization but a lot of organizations. You'll see, I was surprised in the last 2 years the number of companies that have been hiring virtually,
Hmm.
the number of opportunities that kids are getting these days. I mean, compared to, I'm sure, Joban, if you were to compare it to
Yeah,
yourself, you probably did not have these off-campus opportunities
yeah.
or virtual opportunities that much, because back then companies were still traveling. They were going to a college,
Hmm.
doing the processes, and coming back. So in a way, while of course pandemic disrupted our lives in many ways, it was a boon for students, I feel.
Hmm.
And opportunities are coming everywhere. If I were to answer this question now, I don't think so tier matters, not anymore, because I'm seeing a lot of kids from tier 3, tier 4 colleges even coming up and really doing well and able to bag those opportunities
Hmm.
from big companies like Microsoft per se. I myself, have reached out to students who belong to these colleges. I've reached out to them on LinkedIn. We did an engage program recently. I reached out to a bunch of them, and I was not focused on the college. It was more about what they've done, their projects, their internships, what have they really done, in the last 4 years, 3 years of their engineering. And that's how it is. And so the market has really opened. In fact, now if you see, the market has even opened up even more.
Hmm.
So tier right now is not going to matter, but what's going to matter is, are you capable enough, are you skilled enough,
Yeah.
are you working on those skill set that is required by a big giant like Microsoft, right? And so it is very important that you need to start preparing early,
Hmm.
right? Don't like wait till, I'll get placed in fourth year, so I'll start preparing from third year. That's not
Yeah.
going to happen, because you're going to be competing with the likes of tier 1 and in tier 2, right? You
Yeah.
might meet those people, and I know there are a lot of negativity towards people who are from IITs and people who are from these tier 1 colleges, which I feel is unfair. I mean, you
Hmm.
shouldn't have any negativity towards them. They are there because they put in the hard work, right?
Yeah.
They're there because they did what they need to do, and that's why they are there, and they are reaping the benefits, right?
Yeah.
Nothing is stopping you from putting in the hard work. It's just that you are putting in the hard work now,
Yeah.
and you are getting those opportunities. So look out for those opportunities, be on top of things, be active on LinkedIn, be active on on your student community. There
Hmm.
are so many people who are sharing information firsthand. You
Yeah.
just have to grasp it. That's it. I mean, other than that, like, nobody's going to come and hand over an offer letter. You will have to
Exactly.
work.
Yeah.
So that's the reality. Yeah.
But I will also agree to you. Like the pandemic has really blurred the boundaries between the tiers in colleges, and the opportunities are there. Just have to work hard and grab them. So like this, so this question is like a perfect segue to my next question. So I see a lot of myths around ATS, application tracking system, and the resume filtering systems that are incorporated by big tech firms to filter the resume. So can you share some insights or clear some myths that students have in that?
Sure. So definitely there is an ATS. Like, please don't live under a rock that we are
Yeah.
not tracking. Obviously, because I mean, I'll just give you an example. For any FT position that comes in the university recruiting space at Microsoft, we get over 30,000 applications.
Mm.
Now it is an impossible, and 30,000. I'm just talking about if the opening is kept open for maybe 2 weeks. So
2 weeks.
within 2 weeks, we get so many, so many applications. Now, humanly, it is impossible for us to go through all of them,
Mm.
right? I cannot.
Yeah.
even if I have a team of 5, 6 people, we just cannot. It's not possible. So obviously there is some filtration that is happening. Now, college is not the only filter that is happening. There are many other things that goes into it, right?
Mhm.
There is like a filtration on the basis of the projects that you have done, the internships. Now, for example, if I'm hiring a final year student, I would definitely want to see what internships this person has done, right? Has this person interned in, maybe in a software
Mhm.
development role? Then yeah, I definitely would be interested. Has this person, participated in any hackathons? That would be something that I would be interested in. So it
Yeah.
also matters what you put in the resume. Like if you're putting, not doing a good job at putting that stuff, then well, it's going to be difficult.
Yeah.
In addition to that, I also feel sometimes kids uh, do a lot of fancy stuff with their resume, right? And I'll give you an example. I was talking to this gentleman. He's not a kid. He's, of course, he had about 20 years of experience. And he reached out to me saying that, I've been applying at Microsoft and I'm a
Mhm.
very seasoned, and he was a very seasoned person. Like I saw, his resume and it was really good. And as soon as I opened, the first thing I noticed was the header had this fancy thing, his photograph and all the skill sets, and there were like these fancy designs. And I told him, I said, well, unfortunately, sir, the ATS is not going to catch it because of that fancy
Mhm.
header. We need to remove it, because we are doing searches through, keywords. There are
Yeah.
certain keywords that we are using, and you need to make sure that those keywords get tracked. I don't even think that the ATS is catching that because of
Mhm.
that thing. So don't make it too fancy. You need to kind of make sure that all the relevant information is on that one page resume. That's it.
Mhm.
You just, if you're a university graduate, or you're studying and you're about to graduate or whatever, one page is all that you need, and you just need to make sure that all of the information is on that, right? So that's, yeah, that, I
So
hope that
in a
answers.
nutshell, simplicity is the way to go with your resume. Don't need to.
Simplicity
Yeah.
sometimes is the best path.
Yeah.
Yeah, you don't have to jazz it up. And because
Yeah.
I sometimes see, there are pie charts and bar
Yeah.
graphs, and I'm like, why? I just want to know within 7 seconds if you're a fit for the the role that I have.
Hmm.
And I don't want to see, oh, this is on the basis of which you're rating your skills. So I always tell, whenever I review a resume, I've stopped doing that now, but whenever I do, I tell them, don't make it fancy. It will not get tracked, and it will not be, caught by the ATS, and that will
Hmm.
be a missed opportunity.
Yeah. And so my next question was related to this only. Like we have covered a lot already. Like what are the biggest resume mistakes and what are the best practices regarding the resumes?
Sure. I think one of the things that a lot of people, not just the student community, a lot of people do is they don't read the job description. So there is this one resume that they have, which they will apply. It's like a lottery ticket, and they will apply for 200 jobs, and then
One
they'll
size
say,
fits
"Hey,
all.
nothing happened. Yeah, I didn't get a job call. What is this? Nobody is calling me." That does not work.
Hmm.
See, every company will have a specific job description. A Google might call a software developer something else,
Yeah.
versus somebody in Microsoft might call a software developer something else. So it's very important that you go through the job description and apply those keywords into your resume before you apply.
Exactly.
Okay, and also a disclaimer. There are, like I said, there are 30 to 40,000 applications.
Hmm.
You will be competing against them, right? So for you to get noticed, you need to make sure that your resume is tailor made as per the job description. So that's
Hmm.
one advice that I'll definitely want to give. The other one is, again, for the student community, one page resume. That's it. You don't have to keep 5 pages. I've had issues where I've told students that you need to reduce your, and they've literally fought with me saying that, why, how can you expect me to reduce it? I said, well, unfortunately, I have 10 years of experience, and now I will graduate into the second page of my resume, right?
Hmm.
So it's really difficult to make them understand at times that they kind of take it offense. They're like, oh, but this is like my work for 4 years or whatever, and they want to put everything, puri Mahabharat usme likhna chahte hain. Unfortunately, it does not work. So
Yeah.
a short resume, it should be crisp and impactful. And
Exactly.
of course, there are other things like grammatical errors. Make sure that they are
Hmm.
not there. Making sure that you're really doing justice to the work that you are putting there. Sometimes
Hmm.
I see people just write like SD intern at XYZ organization, just the date, start date, and maybe one line that is mentioned there, and that's so heartbreaking, because I'm like,
Hmm.
well, if somebody from a Microsoft is reading your resume, you don't want to come across as your 2 months of internship cannot be just one line
One
long,
line.
right?
Yeah.
So yeah, make sure that you're very, very, very crisp and descriptive about the work that you have done there. That's
Mm,
what's going to get you in. But I think also along with resume, focus on LinkedIn.
mm,
LinkedIn, again, a lot of recruiters are hiring from LinkedIn. It's not just about the resume. So LinkedIn is like your more powerful tool. And a lot
mm,
of people, a lot of recruiters, like for example, me, I feel a lot of confidence when I'm kind of going through a LinkedIn profile and taking a bet on somebody. I don't know, maybe it's probably I can see the person, I can see the work. It's like really nice. And that really, and like for example, there is also within LinkedIn, like there are recommendations that people can give
mm.
about you. So when I read all of that, that gives me more confidence. So make sure that while you're building your resume, you also have a solid LinkedIn profile. That's very,
Yeah.
very important.
Actually,
Strong.
that was my next question. Like these days, I also see like students are quite active on LinkedIn, especially in tech field. And so, like, any tips to carry forward, like how to build an impressive LinkedIn profile, or how to show recruiters that you are the right fit for a job. So, any
So
tips there?
sure. So I think I did like a video on this a couple of months back. You can go and
Yeah.
check it out on the YouTube channel. It's one of the most viewed videos. So I was very proud that I did it. But make sure that your LinkedIn is full. Like you have to be very, very descriptive about everything that you put there. There has to be a profile picture. There has to be a headline. Another thing that a lot of students do, and I personally, I don't know, that's my pet peeve, is when they do a shoddy job at the headline, because that headline gets captured. Like when a recruiter is running a search
Mm,
from their end, the recruiter side of it, that's the headline that gets captured, and that headline can be a make or break situation for you. So it's very important that whatever the headline is, it's very, very impactful. Like if you were to read that headline, would you take a bet on this person and hire them? Simple
mm,
as that. So
mm,
again, very impactful headline that you need to keep. Summary, also very important. Summary is always written in first person. I see a lot of people, I don't know why, write it in third
third
person.
person. Yeah.
It sounds like as if you went to somebody, paid them money, and they wrote it for you, and you copy pasted it. So it's so impersonal. So make sure that your summary is in
Mm,
first person always. It's always me. I did this. I love doing this. This is where I want to be. This is my passion. This is my dream, etc., etc. And then of course, all of your other experiences, be again very, very descriptive about internships, projects, stuff that you've done,
mm,
hackathons. If you won anything, just make sure that you fill all of that information. And last, need to have recommendations. If you work with certain people on projects, if you work with your peers, if you work with somebody in the industry, make sure that you ask them to give recommendations. It really, really will help build your case. Now recommendation, something that you do not put on resume.
mm.
So that's where you get to flaunt all the good work and all the
Yeah.
good feedback that you have gathered. So make sure that you work on your LinkedIn profile for sure.
Yeah, I would also agree to that. Like, resume is the place to be simple, and LinkedIn profile is the place where you can be as descriptive as possible, because that is your canvas to like say anything
Absolutely.
and everything. Uh, so next question would be like, a lot of our audience are students in colleges and they don't have much experience yet. And so how they can show their potential in resume? As I see a lot of students ask like, does projects do the thing, or I have to do something else?
Yeah, so it definitely matters. What are the kind of projects you're doing as well,
Mm,
and I also say that again, probably in your span of 4 years of engineering, you've done 15 projects. Doesn't mean that all 15 go on the resume, right?
mm,
You need to be a little picky about what goes in there and what doesn't. So probably stack rank your projects on the basis of a lot of there could be a lot of parameters. Like it could be probably you try to resolve something, or you try to solution something which was broken and it was affecting a lot of people. Now that's something that would definitely go on that resume, right? That was a project that you did.
yeah.
Or it could be something where you work with a multinational, and that kind of helped them probably generate a lot of revenue. Now that's also something. So you need to make sure that, again, you can do a variety of projects. Make sure that you do a lot of variety, a lot of
Mm,
projects. Don't just stick to like one thing, because college is where you get to experiment.
Yeah.
you get to explore a lot of things which probably you will not be able to once you start your career.
Exactly.
So again, stack rank and put those kind of projects on your resume. I remember a couple of months back I was going through a resume. I think I'd done a review on one of somebody's channel, and I remember this particular person had done a project in blood stem cells or something, and
Hmm.
that caught my attention because I was like, wait, hold on, now this looks fancy, this looks
Yeah.
something different, not your regular coding thing.
Yeah.
So I definitely, and I told the guy, I said I definitely would want to meet this guy and interview, because
Hmm.
not scared of exploring the unknown, right?
Yeah.
Now that's the kind of projects you pick up, and those are the projects that go into. So definitely don't hold yourself, and don't be like, okay, I'll just stick to this kind and this kind only. If you're
Hmm.
getting it, make sure that you go all out.
Yeah. I think the main focus can be like pick those projects that keeps you like stay out of the crowd and can stick your
Yes,
profile should stick out in like
absolutely,
thousands of resumes.
absolutely.
Also, like as we said, like LinkedIn is very important in today's hiring scenario. So I see a lot of questions on like how to ask for referrals, how to reach out to recruiters on LinkedIn. So like, is there a right way, or like what should be the right way?
So I feel there is no right way or wrong way.
Yeah.
It's not like a list of things that you need to
Mm,
do. I think it's normal, right? Now just put yourself in somebody's shoes. What is the kind of message you would like to get from them?
mm,
Um, I've got all sorts of messages from students and from job seekers as well, where they want me to refer. Unfortunately, in my role, I cannot, because I'm a recruiter, and my role forbids me to refer people into the organization.
mm,
So but and I know that a couple of months back I still used to respond to them when I had the time. Unfortunately, I don't. But I've seen messages which are really at times rude, at times to the point. They don't even at times share their resume. It's like very blunt, blunt
mm.
way of asking, hey, I saw this opening, can you please refer? And I'm like, dude, please, like, come on. Somebody who's got like a full-time job is not going to sit and refer you with that
Yeah.
message. So I've got those. I know I did a post recently where this person very rudely, I felt that it was very rude. Of course, I didn't respond also because I didn't have the time. But when that person wrote back saying that, oh, I thought you would respond, I'm sorry, but I don't owe anybody anything,
Mm,
right? And the same way, a lot of people don't owe anybody anything. And my take on that is, you need to make sure that you're polite. You need to make sure that you're providing them with all of the information, right?
mm,
So everything that you are putting in that one message has to be there. There was one person who even responded to that post of mine saying that, oh, but I'm from a different, like, I feel that this person did right, he did not provide you with all the information. I generally say a hi, and then I wait, if they the person. And I asked him, I said, so how many times, like, does this work for you? He said, oh, once in 12 times or 13
yeah.
times. And I was like, I wanted to question him. I said, so if you were given that opportunity saying that, oh, it will start working for you 5 and 12 times, wouldn't you then put the effort to put all of that
Mm,
details for the person who's reading it? Right. So make sure that you have all of that. The other thing is, reach out to people who are actually active on LinkedIn, right? Don't
yeah.
reach out to random people. And you can see, you're probably able to see when was their last activity, did they like any post. If you're reaching out to people who probably liked something like 3 years back, then there's no point. Then they are not
Yeah.
active on LinkedIn, right? Reach out to folks who are from your college, people, your super seniors, maybe, who are working in that organization. Because again, college camaraderie is like very, very close. You know
Yeah.
how close knit students are. So that can help. If you're applying for a role, and this person is also in that role, maybe in a senior, fairly senior
Mm,
role, then reach out to those people. Like, for example, if you're applying for a finance role, and you want like a referral from somebody who's in that role, reach out to those, because again, role also matters at
yeah.
times, right? So that those are some of the things that you can, and it's going to be challenging. Like, it's not like, oh, I'll just send one message and I'll get a referral. No, you
Mm,
have to send like maybe at least 50, and probably you'll get 2 or 3 referrals. So that's how
exactly.
it works.
Yeah. So yeah, nicely explained. So the next question would be like, let's say you have done all the hard work, and now you have been lucky and you got the offer. Now, a lot of students ask like, what should be the negotiation strategy of a student not a student or any candidate, let's say any experienced candidate, any new candidate, any fresher. So what should be the key points to keep in mind while negotiating an offer?
So I'll bifurcate it into student and job seekers because
Yeah.
then it's easy. So in India, unfortunately, students do not get to negotiate
Hmm.
much. I'm
Yeah.
not sure if it is happening in certain startups or maybe it is happening. I'm not aware. But generally, in multiple big organizations like Microsoft and other organizations, they don't have an opportunity to negotiate because we want to be fair. There
Hmm.
are a whole lot of students that are coming and everybody should get the same start as anybody, right?
Hmm.
Because they've already been assessed, they've already been determined that okay, this person is a good fit and gets to start their career at Microsoft. That's all that matters. So everybody gets the same level
Yeah.
playing field, okay? For job seekers, typically what I say is definitely you can negotiate, and I'll be honest, I'm a lousy negotiator. I think I changed my job like 5 years back, and I remember I did not negotiate. I'm like very, I don't know, I think I'm very grateful as it is, so I'm like haha, theek hai. But I have learned the art. I've kind of seen other people do it.
Hmm.
Now typically as per industry standards, it's a 30% hike that you can
Hmm.
expect whenever you're switching jobs.
Switching.
If
Yeah.
it's the same industry, that's the norm. Now, if you're switching industries, like for example from service to product, and a lot of people want to do that, they want to make that switch.
Hmm. Hmm.
It totally depends on what level you're coming at. So there will be a certain level that you're coming at, and the hiring manager or whatever, the recruiter will peg you at that level. And it could be that while you're coming at that level, you could be maybe getting a 60% hike, and that
Hmm.
also happens. It's fine,
Yeah.
right? So couple of questions that you should definitely ask a recruit, this is for job seekers, is that and you could probably even ask it during the interview process as well. Like you should know,
Hmm.
is it worth spending that much time? So openly share whatever your current salary is, share whatever your expectation. If it's a, so again, if you're making the switch from service to product, then you can definitely expect a rather higher
Hmm. Hmm.
salary depending on whatever your level is, experiences, and etc.
Yeah.
And don't be like, I mean, again, I don't want to use the word stupid, but don't be again stupid
Irrational. Let's say.
by asking like 100% hike. Like I've
Yeah.
seen, I did like a bit of lateral recruitment, and people used to be like, yeah, so can you like give me 100%? I was like, I'm sorry, it's not coming from my pocket. So yeah, so don't like piss the person off, like the recruiter off, by asking like something really really silly.
Hmm.
Yeah. So that's how it should be, and have an open conversation. Explain, if in case, say for example, you have other offers in hand, you can definitely bring that up as well. See if there is any room for negotiation. There is also a chance, again, for job seekers, there might be like a joining bonus, like an added bonus that is added. While the recruiter might not be willing to increase your base pay because that
Hmm.
base pay affects the company
Yeah.
for a longer period of time, right? Versus a joining bonus. You could definitely ask for a joining bonus, a higher joining bonus, right? Or it could be even around, variable. What about like the performance variables? What does that look like? Are you even eligible, depending on which month you're joining the organization? Are you
Hmm.
eligible for the variable bonus? So these are other things that kind of play into whenever you're doing an open negotiation and having an open conversation. I think it's good. And also, if you are rejecting the offer, please do not sit till the last day, like just like Monday ko joining hai, and then
Yeah.
Friday evening you're sending the recruiter, oh, I'm not joining. It's the worst thing that you can do. If you have
Yeah.
made up your mind, and this is also for the student community, this is like my request, please, because
Hmm.
I'm in a situation as well where very conveniently, June, July is when the joining happens, and then we start getting offer declines in the month of May. Oh, we've got an offer, don't want to join. And sometimes those emails are very rude, I must add, like really really rude, and it just gets on my nerves. So if you are rejecting an offer, if you have already got an opportunity somewhere, say in the
Yeah.
month of December, you got an opportunity, just be upfront and tell the recruiter, tell the organization, I'm not joining. You are sitting on somebody's offer or opportunity,
Yeah.
and you're not even letting another person join. So remember, that's a wasted opportunity. If you are doing it to somebody else, it could happen to you. Karma is,
Yeah.
what. So make sure that you reject the offer well in time, so the company also has time to go and hire more people out there and make sure that your position is getting filled by somebody else. So that's at least my advice in this on this topic.
Yeah. Yeah. So like as we discussed, like hiring season is in full swing. So any last tips or tricks or any final thoughts for students to who are joining or sitting, let's say tomorrow in an interview?
Well, I think just keep it cool. I'm sure you've done whatever you could. It's very important to know that this is just a beginning, right?
Yeah.
Doesn't matter what your beginning is, because 5 to 6 years down the line, everybody is going to be at the same level.
Mm,
Again, irrespective of what your experience is, wherever you are, it does not matter. So don't be too hard on yourself. Yes, it would have been great if you would have had that great start, but even if you did not have that great start, nothing is stopping you from going to the destination that you have decided that you want to have, right? So it's very, very important that you focus on the destination and not on the beginning of your journey.
mm,
Um, Keep calm. It is only an interview, it's just a conversation that's happening. They just want to know and gauge you if you are fit for the organization. And if you're not fit for the organization, it's okay. Just think
yeah.
of it that you will be directed and not rejected. And I think last but not the least, be grateful to people around you. Your parents. Start off with your parents. Parents have done enough and more. Um, just be very, very grateful for that. Your professors, your peers, your friends, whoever, whatever, wherever you are, it's because of them. So give out a lot of gratitude, because gratitude, I feel, is very, very important, and everybody should practice it. So these are the three things that I think I'd like to give. I don't want to give too much gyan, but yeah, just go easy on yourself. It's just life, and life has its peaks and valleys, and that's how it's meant to be. So yeah.
Great. Great. Thanks, Ruchika. Thanks again. I think we have covered a lot of questions, and students will benefit a lot from this interview. Yeah. And thanks again for coming to our channel, and I hope for the best. Thanks.
Thank you, Joban, for calling me. Bye
Yeah.
bye. Okay.
Bye. Thanks, guys, for watching this video till the end. I'll be back with a new guest soon. And please like, share, and subscribe, and post your questions in the comment box. Thanks for now. Bye.